Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, episode 409, titled Lucha de Apuestas, which premiered Monday, April 1st, 2019 on the CW. Huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. It's been a very long wait, but the second half of the season is finally here, and it did not disappoint with the bang that we were left off with. So I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes. So let's start the clock. Let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, I think it's continuing off where the events of 410 picked up, where Sarah and Ava are delivering the Dibbit puppet to the Bureau after time had reset itself. But we are jumping into Mexico City of 1961 for this episode. Episode reminder being the fact that because we're in 1961 Mexico, we are going to jump right into the Lucha Libre fights. So we'll get into that in a moment. That's one storyline there. But the villain, I guess you could say, is either Konane, the Cope, or the Time Bureau, depending which side you stand on when it comes to it. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's pretty much it. With the storyline, though, there's two different storylines I picked up on. First one being finding the fugitive that is the Cope, or the second one being finding proof of a cover-up. So on the one hand, you have Mona, who finds Kone the Cope and drops him in 1961 before the Legends or the Time Bureau get a hold of him. Unfortunately, Legends gets a hold of her, but she manages to convince them to at least look into the cover-up that these men in black were coming for the Kobe to do very terrifying things to him. But this takes us to 1961, where Konane ended up being part of the Lucha Libre fighting culture, I guess you could say. And he ended up like being undefeated, which knocked out the original Timeline's superstar out of the ranks. So that's messing up the timeline there. So the Legends have to try to reset it while also incorporating what Konane's interference had done. Now, the second storyline with proof of the cover-up, we have Zari finding proof that the real security footage of the men in black coming for the Cope being deleted and replaced by Hank's phone. Nate's kind of on the fence about it until he sees proof for himself from Zari. Ava doesn't want to believe in the conspiracy. She stands by Hank and the Time Bureau, believing that it's her purpose to protect human history. So this kind of puts tensions between Ava and Sarah, because Sarah's on the side of Mona in trying to stop this conspiracy, which leads to Ava breaking things off with her. Last moments of the episode is Mona transforming into a Cope after Konane was murdered by a Time Bureau agent. So that was something there. And then Mick finding the whole massacre afterwards. So there's that. Dibbit-wise, though, we have Ray creating a card game to help teach Charlie and Constantine about the Legends' adventures and learning from their past mistakes. It's a neat little packaging he had cooked up. We also see Zari having to pretend to be Nate's date at the fundraiser ball so they can get close to Hank's phone. They ran into his mother, who, because Zari's playing his girlfriend, brought up how she wants grandchildren, which caused for some awkwardness. So there's that. We also see Mona accidentally erasing Gary's memory when she was defending herself against him trying to do the same to her after firing her. We also see Mona's parents make an appearance when she was waking up in the hospital. We see Mick being stunned when he discovers that Mona is a fan of his book series, though she doesn't know that he's the author. So that's kind of fun stuff right there. And also, we do see Desmond, who I'm believing is Neuron wearing Desmond's face. He makes a cameo at the benefit gala. And since no one knows who he is, since Constantine's not at the gala, they don't know that something's up there. But most shocking moment of the episode, I would have to say, is Mona's transformation into a Cope after Konone was murdered. I was not expecting that whatsoever. At first, I thought maybe, is it possible because she's in love with him? Maybe it could be like she's a far-off descendant of his species or something. I don't know. Then I read an article immediately after the episode finished, and it did bring up the fact that it could be because of the scratch she got from him at in the previous episodes, which landed her in the hospital. So it could have been an infectious scratch, which caused her to turn into being like him in a fit of rage, I guess. It also kind of sucks, though, because she was pretty much ending things with him because they're from two different worlds, only to find out after he was shot that no, she's exactly like him. So it's like they could have been together, which kind of sucks. But I guess she kind of needed to lose him in order to become just like him. I don't know. But that was the most shocker. That was something I was not expecting at all when it was going down. So, plus, it was a little surprising that she seemed not only a lot bigger than her human form, but she seemed a lot bigger than Kanone himself. So it was just like, I wasn't expecting that there. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments, I will have to say I like the fights that we got to see the Legends do during the Lucha Libre fight when they were helping reset the timeline with with the champion winner. It was great to see their incorporations of trying to maintain history the way they do. So that was always fun. Plus, they always have great fight scene coordinations as well, too. So there's that. It was very interesting to see the scenes between Mick and Mona and just the dynamic between them, especially when you add in the fact that she's a fan of his work without realizing it. So him, like, trying to take that in and not reveal the fact that it's his stuff, and then, like, giving her advice while also not trying to reveal that is stuff. It was very interesting dynamic and stuff like that. Plus, it was kind of weird when he was using a trank gun, and you didn't know he was using a trank gun, and yet he shot her, and then he's like, this thing's not working. And then Ray's like, did you just try to shoot her? And, like, it's just so Mick. That's why I find it funny. But, like, it was just weird to see. It was weird and fun at the same time to see the dynamic between these two. So now that I'm wondering now that she's a Kope now, if she's this creature, if that's going to bond her and Mick together, or if it's because he was there when it happened to her, then maybe there's some bonding there. I don't know. I'll be interested to see that dynamic form. But another favorite moment has to be the dance that Sarah had with Ava during the benefit. If you forget the arguing they had during the dance, it was really great to see the choreography of them dancing together. And they looked fantastic about it too. Just ignore the fighting they were doing while keeping up appearances. So there's that. But moving on to top 3 peeve moments, I did have one peeve being that everyone was so quick to turn on Mona when the altered footage of her letting the Kope out was released. It just seems so unfair. Instead of trying to find where she is and then finding her in the hospital and asking, like, are you okay? What happened to getting her story? Gary was automatically there to erase her memory. And it's like, that was it. So it was just like, it seemed like all the time she spent getting to know these co-workers and like building a relationship with them. And then all of a sudden they turn their back on her. And it's like, yeah, they have to be, but like, there's like completely cutting her off and then like they did. And then actually getting her side of things and investigating it. And then it's like, no, you're in the wrong. And then firing her. It just seemed so harsh on her, and then she was left to fend for herself pretty much and try to figure things out with as little resources that she has. So that was a peeve there too, is like she was pretty much left in the doghouse, no pun intended. And another huge peeve I had was just Ava in this episode, because it seems like the moment she got reprimanded by Hank for being away from the office, it just seemed like all the progress she made to get to the point she was already at was just completely erased with that reprimand, because now she reverts back to who she was at the very beginning when we first met her. And it just seemed like such a disappointment, because Ava letting loose and like bending a few rules and understanding where and why, that I was liking her more than. I don't like her being like the strict like rule abiding person, because like, yeah, it just seemed like a lot of progress just went out the window in this episode because of Hank's words. And he was like putting all the blame on her too. It's like, just because she was gone for a few hours and yet everything has gone in chaos, that's not her fault. I mean, she's not going to be at the bureau 24/7. She does have a life outside of it. It just so happens to be on a time ship during her time away from the office. You can't blame her for what happens at the office when she's not there. And it just seems so unfair. And then to have her like revert back, it was just like, it was huge disappointment. It made me feel like if Ava was on Earth 38, Supergirl's world, if she was there, I feel like she would be a child of liberty due to her views of of the mythical creatures that she shared with Sarah. Sarah was showing how they needed to find a way to like stop this from happening, and Ava was like, well, why do you care? They're not supposed to be here. We're supposed to be protecting history, human history. The fact that she said human, that had me thinking of the Children of Liberty, because like they're always with that distinction of human and alien over on Supergirl, and it just like now that she made it with human and creature, it just seemed like, no, you're going down that route. It's just, I don't need that happening. Plus it also seems a little hypocritical as well of her, because she's technically, there's a timer, I mean, like, she's a clone, so like she is a human, but she's not a human in the conventional sense. And I don't want to put that out there as me being against her being a clone, but it just seems like for her, who had such a huge struggle with her finding out she was a clone and all that, and all her questioning whether or not she was real or not, and then like having Sarah like tell her like, yes, you are real, you're still a person, you are still different, you're still like any other person, and then just for her to not show that same compassion towards these creatures, it just, I just get the huge divide between who should have the support. And it's an annoying divide that I get whenever I watch Supergirl when the topic comes up. So I don't mean it to get political in any sense, especially in the world of the Arrowverse political, but it just, that just felt like a huge peeve for me because it brought up those feelings. So anyways, moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode. Mona's transformation, for sure. That was a huge shocker right there. I think that has to be like one of the highlights, because it was something I was just not expecting whatsoever. And it did kick off the mid-season premiere with a huge bang, because now I'm left in with all these questions. What does this mean for her and stuff like that, which would lead me to my random questions right now. And that is, with Mona now being this magical creature that is the Kope, could that change the views of other people, aka Ava, to do right by these creatures? Or what does that mean for her now? Now without Konone helping her out, she's got to figure out what it means to be this creature now, what triggers it, what doesn't. It's going to be quite a journey to find herself again. And then I'm wondering what more she's going to be able to find. Because I figured now with Legends team, we did see with the whole time traveling issue that the reason why the Legends don't kill the creatures is because they met Charlie. And I'm wondering now that they have Mona to contend with her becoming these creatures, is that going to change the fact like, oh, we got to protect these creatures? Or are they now going to think of like, oh, these creatures can affect and harm other humans to turn into them? Is that going to change how they handle things? So that's a question there. Another question is, does Zari have feelings for Nathan? Because, like, she seemed, well, for one, she was blushing when his mom made the comment about grandkids. I mean, to be fair, any girl would blush if, like, someone else's mom brought that up to you, even if you're not dating them, right? So there's that, because it's just out of the left field. But also, like, he made the comment, the fact, like, it wouldn't be believable that they were dating or something like that. He made the comment about, like, he dismissed the fact that they could ever date. So I'm wondering, in her reaction to it, she seemed like a little let down. So I'm wondering, does she have any feelings for him or something? I don't know. So that's one there. Another question is, what happened during the confrontation between Nate and Hank? At the very end, when he brought up the fact that, when he brought up the footage that he found, I believe that's what happened. Someone called when it happened, so I couldn't really focus on the scene. So if I don't find out by the time I'm editing this, the answer will be on screen. Otherwise, if anyone knows it, just point me to the right direction. And the last question, hasn't Ava learned that the side the Legends is on is usually the correct one you should be on when it comes to saving history or saving the timeline? I mean, like, she says that staying with the Time Bureau and standing behind Hank is what's going to help save the timeline, but no, what the Legend is doing is going to save the timeline. The fact that they went back to 1961 with Kanone to help reset who was supposed to be the champion, instead of just yanking him out and causing a different timeline like the Bureau wanted, that shows something. And the fact that after, a year and a bit now that Ava's known them, she hasn't come to realize that usually the Legends are onto something. So I'm just wondering when she's going to get that through her head. So there's that. Moving on to predictions very quickly, based for the promo for 410. It looks like we're going to get the RV road trip in 1973. It also looks like we're going to see the team witnessing Mona transform again in a possible pub fight, maybe. So there's that. The synopsis for the episode reads that when Hank commandeers the Wave Rider in 1973, the Legends find themselves on the run in an RV after kidnapping the president, who's only able to tell the truth. With the help of Constantine, they discover the reason that none of them can lie, making it an uncomfortable family road trip. Meanwhile, Nate and Zari, with the help of Nora and Gary, work together to find out what Hank is really up to. Now, if Nate and Zari are teaming up, that's going to probably build on to what they had to do in this episode. So there's that. I also wondered why Zari would be left behind, or is it because of the whole trying to find a trail thing would be best in her wheelhouse? So I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. I can't wait for this pseudo family road trip thing. If Mick better be on this trip, because I just want to see what he would say when he can't lie about things. That's gonna be funny. But otherwise, that is pretty much it, guys. During the break between the mid-season finale and this episode, it was announced that Legends was renewed for season 5. It was also announced that The Flash, Supergirl, and Arrow were all renewed as well. However, Arrow was renewed for its final season of 10 episodes. So there's that, which gears it up to around the finale being around the time that Crisis of Infinite Earths happens. We don't know if Legends is going to take a part of that crossover. We also found out that... no, I won't. We also found out another cast member on Arrow is leaving after their current season. I'll talk more about that in the new Arrow video that comes out when the episodes return. So there's that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. If you have any questions at all, or if you have any answers for my own questions, please comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. It's a little work in progress for sure. I definitely have to get back into it. But yeah, otherwise, things are pretty much the same. Again, thanks again for tuning in. I kind of went ahead of myself previously. But I hope you come back next time to see what they say about the next episode for Legends. I'm not sure if I'll do each episode by itself or if I'll double up on 2. We'll see what happens in the next episode, see how things go. But otherwise, guys, until next time, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, everyone. Bye for now.